And you only have one child? Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
what
put
was
that.
How would you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there.
Wait a minute, in fairness.
That may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness.
All right, folks, we got a heated one today. Dustin's been out of his kids' lives for almost a year, and now he suddenly wants back in. But here's the twist. He claims he can't afford child support. So instead, he offers to pay for daycare. Sounds reasonable, right? Not to Sarah. She insists on child support plus daycare costs. Classic case of the system favoring the mother. Or will the court actually apply some common sense this time? Let's dive in and break it all down.
Okay. Is it Miss or Mrs. Cheney?
Mrs.
Mrs. Cheney.
Remarried.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
So, we were friends. We went out for drinks after a promotion, and everybody else left. It left us two. Had a little too much to drink. Anyway, I ended up pregnant. He's completely out of the picture. Doesn't answer text calls, whatever. All of a sudden, he comes to me and says he wants to be a part of our kid's life. And I said, okay, well, you're going to have to give me child support. I'm not just going to let you all of a sudden be dad, you know. And
how old is the child?
He's 18 months.
Okay.
18 months, yep.
Okay, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's like, well, I can't pay child support, but I'll pay the daycare bill. Daycare is $8.55 a month. Okay. He claims he only makes $24,000 a year. That adds up to almost half his income, if that's what he actually said. I mean, this is not the way a guy who lives a life of $24,000. I mean, that suit probably costs like, I don't know, half that or something.
It is a nice suit.
I shop clearance.
Okay.
I do pretty well on sales.
He shops on clearance.
Okay. I've never seen that suit at JCPenney, but all right.
Okay. So $855 a month in daycare. You say you make $24,000 a year.
$24,000 a year, that is
And
correct.
I do have his tax returns that he produced showing $24,000 a year, but you're self-employed?
That is correct.
So you did your own tax return?
I do, yes.
So is it accurate, or did you manipulate it?
If you're questioning if I'm being honest in my tax returns,
Yes.
I am being honest in my tax returns, Your Honor.
Okay. And I can only go based off of what he produces. Living-wise, do you live with someone?
I'm in an apartment sharing situation right now with the money I make every month, and with basically close to half of my salary going to pay for daycare for our child. I've got to share. I can't afford my own place on my own.
Okay. And living expenses, they're shared between your roommates?
Pretty much we kind of split the groceries, things like that. Utilities get split evenly.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes sense. So you're asking...
Sarah says one night out with Dustin led to an unexpected pregnancy, but instead of stepping up, he disappeared for a year. Now, he suddenly wants back in, but there's a catch. Dustin originally agreed to cover daycare at $850 a month, but now he claims his $20,000 salary can't handle it. That's nearly half his income gone, and he's barely getting by, splitting rent just to survive. Now he's asking for a reduction, but Sarah wants child support and daycare covered. So, will the court cut Dustin some slack, or is he about to take an even bigger financial hit? Let's break it down.
That it seems kind of sketchy that he can afford almost $900 a month in daycare, but won't pay child support. I feel like there's something going on with the money situation. There's got to be a reason why he's doing things the way he does.
So you want him to pay $855 in daycare and child support?
I mean, he wants to be a part of his life.
That wasn't my question.
Okay.
Do you want him to pay $855 in daycare as well as pay child support on top of that?
I want us to be able to talk and discuss and find a number that works for both of us, and that I think is fair.
Okay.
Just because I make more money than him doesn't mean I should be covering all of the child's expenses. $855 is daycare.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with that. So what is the middle ground that you're looking for? Because legally he cannot pay daycare and child support. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So what would be a middle ground for you?
I guess we'd have to kind of discuss what would be child support versus daycare and how the parental responsibilities would change. Would he get them on weekends? Would he get them on holidays? Things like that. So,
Well, we're here
because he
today.
doesn't live real close either, you know.
Well, we're here today, so let's discuss it. Like I said, he cannot pay daycare on top of child support. It just can't happen. So if you were to give him a number that's in between the 24,000 that, I mean, because when you break that down based on child support for one child, it's not a lot of money. So if you were, let's say it's about $300 in child support. If you add that to $855, you're talking about child support in excess of $1,000. Are you asking that he pay $1,000 in child support?
I guess not exactly. I don't.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why you're here and what you're asking me to do.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the situation with him. I don't have a law degree. I don't have a lawyer. I don't know exactly how these things work.
Okay. And I'm helping you guys as much as I can.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you couldn't do daycare and child support. And I don't know what, I've never had child support before. I have no idea. I don't know, what you can do, what you can't do, what happens with visitation and stuff like that. He was absent the entire first year, completely absent. So I paid 100% of everything. He was in the hospital after he was born. I took care of those bills.
And you didn't give her any money?
Not at that point, Your Honor, no.
What was the reason for that?
I was effectively in the same situation I am now. Again, being self-employed, my income has not gone up. There was a little bit of a disconnect between the two of us. I probably, looking back, should have stepped in sooner, and that's all I'm trying to do now.
Okay.
I want to have a relationship with our son. The amount I'm paying on a monthly basis is already, again, 45% or so.
It's a lot.
Of my income. I don't know the percentages, et cetera, what I'm required to do. I feel I'm already stepping up, and by paying the full daycare, as far as I know, and I've talked to some friends, I'm paying more than I actually have to.
He actually is. Because if we were to break down, based on what it is that he makes, if we were to break down, and you only have one child?
Yeah.
Okay, if we were to break down
That
what
he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
What
put
was
that.
that? How would you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, there might be some other women out there
Wait a minute. In fairness,
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness, he wasn't alone in knocking you up.
I get that. And I
kinda
took 100%
played a fair
responsibility
role
for
in
that
it,
child for a
so
full
let's not
12
blame
months.
it on him.
Okay.
Let's not blame it
Okay.
all on him. You have one child, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's stick to what is in front of us. We're not worrying about any other children that may be out there. So based on the financial documents that he provided at 20%, his child support should only be about $349.
Sarah's questioning how Dustin can afford daycare but not child support. And honestly, she's got a point. Just because she earns more doesn't mean she should pay for everything. But here's where it gets wild. Judge V shuts her down, saying her request doesn't even make sense. Sarah insists Dustin hasn't given her a dime beyond daycare, even though that eats up half his salary. Then she throws in a shady remark, hinting he might have other kids just to make him look worse. Is she reaching, or does she have a case? Drop your thoughts, and let's get back into it.
Health insurance is paid through you.
Yes.
How much do you pay?
It's like 130 or something a month. It comes right out of my check, so I'm not sure the exact amount of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking
130,
at
133, something like that.
I'm looking at what you also turned in. It looks like it's about $113.
13, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do to make it fair, because he is paying about 3 times the amount that his child support should be.
Yeah, well, his bar bills are about the price of that too, so.
Well, so are yours. But as I was saying, his child support is going to be set at what the daycare amount is. That's the fairest way to do it. At least we know that by you paying daycare, the child's daycare expense is covered each month. So that's something you do not have to worry about. And you will have to reimburse her for the health insurance that she has on the child. So when you add the $855 plus the $113, it comes out to $968 a month in child support. So $968 would be all that he pays. And out of that, that would include whatever, if you change daycares, let me just make sure I'm very clear on this. If you change daycares and the amount goes up to $1,000, all he's responsible for is the $855 for the daycare. That's it. That's all you're responsible for. But the health insurance, if you have health insurance available through your job, you can enroll the child under health insurance and remove that $113 additional charge, and you'll be only responsible for $855.
To make sure I understand, so I'm already paying $855 a month as compared to the $349 that you calculated I should be responsible for.
Well,
So now we're saying, well, instead of basing it off of $349, potentially lowering it, or at least the two of us coming to some sort of agreement and saying, I'm already paying 45% of my salary. I've got to pay now $968 a month, which is, again, more than double what I'm supposed to be paying in child support.
You've been paying, although it's 3 times the amount, you've been comfortably paying this. This isn't something that she necessarily, well, when I say comfortably, I don't know your financial situation, but you've been paying it for some time.
With roommates and
right.
TV
and I
dinners.
I understand, but under Texas law, we can deviate from what the guideline support should be if we find good reason to do it. And daycare expenses, they are considered one of those reasons. Now, if you two, while you're here, you want to agree to a lesser amount, if you want to meet in the middle and say, let's say you decide to do $700, let's say you decide to say $750, that's what you can do. But based on what you all have been telling me, you've been paying daycare, it's $855. That would be in the best interest of the child to at least make sure that the daycare expense is covered.
Understood.
So, like I said, if you guys decide to come in with something different, you can come back and modify that, and I'd be happy to enter in the number that you all come up with. Is there anything further today?
I don't think so.
Okay. Anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, there's nothing further. You all are dismissed.
So, here's the final verdict. Sarah covers health insurance, but Judge Fonda points out Dustin's already paying way more than required. Still, he's ordered to reimburse her and keep covering daycare. Dustin questions why he's paying so much, and the judge shuts it down. Texas counts daycare as child support, so he's locked in. He tried to step up, and now he's paying more than he expected. Classic, right? If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all in the next one.